Me, I love Wolvo. We're not southern twats, and we're not northern twats. We're Midlands twats.
Today we're going to go on a magical mystery tour around our Wolverhampton and all the places where we had formative experiences and or cataclysmic experiences in our lives.
You're going to eat chips?
Going to eat chips, yeah. Going to hang out at the bus station. We're going to hopefully see the bus driver that we had a long-running feud with and finally pay him back.
And Bon Marché.
It seems really peaceful and lovely, actually, doesn't it? There's something kind of... I feel quite regressy. I feel like I might curl up into the fetal position and start sucking my thumb. And I'd kind of misremembered it as a kind of urban hell full of unpleasant people. And then I came back here and saw how nice it was and remembered that we were the urban hell and we were the unpleasant people. And since that we'd left the estate, this was actually a really nice place.
This is about the furthest I would ever come on my bike when I started to learning to ride the bike. And we're about 300 yards away from the house. So, but this was extreme.
Yeah.
Like, all this behind us was...
Who knows what went on down
yeah.
there? We never went that far. And that's in the sitcom when Jermaine and Aretha get on their bikes and kind of Jermaine is so bad at cycling. And that was very much based on her own cycling experience.
Change gear, you noob.
Yeah, space was at a premium, wasn't it? There wasn't a lot of space. People were sleeping, you know, someone used to sleep under the stairs, which we do in the show, and the Grampy ends up in a bed under the stairs.
In the nook, like the wizard Potter. Yeah.
I'd stick you in with the kids, but I think Wyatt might have nits. You don't need that shit on your plate right now.
Oh, don't you worry about me, Della. I'll be fine here under the stairs, like the boy wizard Potter.
Yeah. Voldemort can't get you now, the noseless old cow.
I was in the dining room. You slept in the living room for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, to make a political point. I was like, I need my own space, and just slept in the dining room, in the front room, making a massive fuss about it.
This room's actually, it's a bit bigger than our actual bedroom,
Yeah.
isn't it, this room?
Well, also, as humanitarians, we've only given the mum, Della, 5 children. Is it 5 kids or 6? 6 kids. You know, there were 8 of us. Like, kind of, this is still roomy.
You get called most names, actually, Jermaine. Like Lady Hagrid, Girl Russell Brand, Fat Winehouse. It's kind of the law of the jungle at school. If you don't join in, you pay the price.
Most people who were home educated were taken out by kind of parents who were kind of like, we can do a better job of educating them than the school. We'll take them on brilliant nature walks and teach them about the local geology and the socio-economic status of the people who live in this area. That was not our homeschooling. We just sat in our front room watching classic MGM musicals whilst eating lumps of cheese on a fork. That's why we've ended up, I think, writing a sitcom, because all we did was watch sitcoms. That was our world.
Right, so, what film are we watching?
All that I missed about school was just the idea that I might be able to have sex with someone.
Leroy, you're so raw.
I was very jealous of their access to knowledge. I used to get, like, college prospectuses and read about, like, the GCSEs and what content would be in, like, GCSE history. I got the Bilston College prospectus.
Hey.
I got the Wolverhampton Adult Education College prospectus. I remember ringing up for the Bilston one, and I was so embarrassed to be making a phone call that I put on a Scottish accent. I based on Elspeth and Angus from The Family Nest. Hello there, can I get a prospectus?
In 1994, when I was 19, I took part in a documentary about home education. I'd started being a columnist for The Times, and I was presenting a really terrible show on Channel 4 called Naked City, in which I was the world's most appalling presenter. And I decided to extend the appallingness of my presenting by presenting another show about home education called Class Action, where I returned to Wolverhampton and interviewed my family about home education, whilst talking in a very high-pitched, posh voice that I don't quite know where I got it from.
So what I really want to ask is school necessary? I mean, I didn't bother, and look how well I've turned out.
That's the only footage we've got how our house used to look. When we were saying how we wanted the set to look on Raised by Wolves, we were trying to remember what the house looked like and described it. And then seeing that footage recently, it's like, it does look like the set of Raised by Wolves is almost completely spot on. This was our local library, and we came here pretty much every day for all of our childhood.
Yeah.
Sometimes twice a day if I got very panicked that a new Terry Pratchett might have been brought back. Since I left the library in the morning, I would come back in the afternoon and check that it might have been brought back. So, you know, depending on how OCD I was feeling, once or twice a day I would come here. This is kind of like the really beautiful, it's quite fitting that we're in this library and sort of like, you know, talking about sort of what we did with our lives when we were teenagers, because, you know, Wolverhampton Council was just really good to us. It allowed us to do what we wanted, didn't it? You know, when we wanted to go and get an education in the place that we wanted to, in adult education colleges, we could do it. You know, we had libraries and we could come here and educate ourselves, kind of like, you know, as children, and the way that we were living was to sort of be in control of our own lives. The council provided all these things that we could go out and do. You know, we were in control of our own lives and what we wanted to learn, and it just gave you an amazing freedom. Plus, I was on that sweet bus pass deal that I was abusing at the time as well, so I've got nothing but love for Wolverhampton City Council.
We just turn and walk away now, aren't we?
I wanted something.